Good afternoon, everyone. How are you all doing? I see some of you have already joined. Right, I know it's a festival mood going on, and probably you don't even feel like coming to the classes, but I think it's very essential to attend these classes because, of course, they've been organized for you, and so that it helps you in your exams later on, so that you know how to, go about it for every chapter. What is, these lectures are basically to give you directions about for how to plan your chapter and how to understand the concepts and then practice them accordingly, and how much practice you would need, and what it is actually about. It just gives you a fair idea. I'm good too. So probably I have another chapter where is report writing in October. Okay, so today we're going to start with formal email writing. Yes. I hope the previous chapters were clear to you, and you have actually gone through your study material, and your queries are solved. If there is anything that you want to explain, you can ask me, but I will explain you by the end, towards the end of this lecture, not right now. Abhinav, I will. It's a technical difference between formal letters and formal mails. We will be comparing both. Don't worry. Once I start with the chapter. Okay, so shall we start? We just have one lecture for this. So I think we'll be really quick. Okay, so let's start. Now, like I said in the previous class also, that formal letters is just not about passing this exam. I think we use formal letter writing in our day-to-day life. Now, more than writing, right, Himanshu, thank you for reminding me. This will take up towards the end of the lecture, difference between memo, notice, and circular. All right, I got it. Now, Diksha, I've got it. All right, great, Himanshu and Diksha, thank you for reminding. We'll be doing this towards the end of the lecture. Right now, let's concentrate on formal email writing. It's pretty interesting topic, and again, very easy to understand. Now, more than letter writing, I think emails have become parts of our life. It is a inseparable part of our life because we are so surrounded with emails all the time, right? Either you get these marketing emails, your official emails. Probably you want to inquire something in ICI only. You have to write. I mean, you should write an email because I think email is a very effective way, and it's a formal way of approaching someone, right? You might not get all the answers through phones, or if you call somebody, because it's practically not possible for somebody who's sitting with a phone to answer all the phones and to answer all the queries. But emails are usually answered, and of course, just like formal letters, emails are also official records, right? So if you write a formal email, people usually take it very seriously, right? Again, this is a very fast and immediate mode these days. What email is? Email is basically mail that is written from the medium, by the medium of electronic, right? We use internet these days. I don't think we can live without internet now, because we have made internet part of our lives so much that our entire universe revolves around internet. And so is this email. So emails functions because of internet. That's how we use emails, right? We all have email IDs. Everyone has email IDs. I mean, it's just not even us. Our parents have email IDs. Our all relatives have email IDs. Friends, circle, everywhere. Yes. So yes, emails are it's kind of a fast and immediate way of approaching someone, right? Now this is also a process, just the way you have a format of email for letter writing. In the same way, there are few things that you need to keep of mind, and there's a proper structure that needs to be followed. There's a process that needs to be followed for email writing, right? There are certain steps. Just like in letter writing, we write about, sender's address, then date, and then receiver's address, designation and address. Then we write about the salutation, and then subject, and then the body, and everything. In the similarly, in email, we automatically have these sections ready that we just need to fill, right? So who's going to tell me what all is involved in email writing? When you start writing an email, what are blanks that you need to fill? I mean, of course, I'm sure everybody has experience of writing email. Quickly tell me, what all things do you fill in to send an email? Sender's email address. Perfect. So we have email address. Yes. abc@gmail.com, abc.0102 at yahoo.com. We used to have hotmail.com. And you have these company IDs also these days. Any company, like for example, timesofindia.com. So subject, you compose email in the starting. You don't have to put the names, you have to put the email IDs. That's the email address. From to subject, our email, another person email, subject, the body. From to CC, BCC, subject, email ID. Do you fill BCC all the time? What is BCC? All right, stop. Right. So let's look at this PPT now. One second. Okay. So, first thing first, what is an email? Now, email is a short for electronic mail. It's a commonly used of means of communication, like I said. I am actually saying that, our parents' generation has also changed. Now, they also believe that emails work for everything. I remember my father coming to me and saying that please write email on my behalf to so and so person. I have a complaint against this. So even for the complaint also, you can just send an email, right? Even if you call to the customer care, they say, ma'am, please just send an email to us with all details. When did you purchase your product? What is the problem? What is the attach your bill copy and everything? And then we'll certainly take an action against it, right? Now, this is a fast and immediate. It allows you to interact with all kinds of businesses. Now, like I said, fast, of course, because it is just a click away. As soon as I click on send, the other person can receive the email within the span of seconds, right? Just 1 or 2 seconds. It's immediate because, of course, it's immediate. I enter send and you receive it. So it's immediate, right? It allows you to interact with all kinds of businesses because it doesn't matter who you are and from which industry you are coming in. I mean, for what reason you want to contact this person. If you write an email, that's a very, I think it's a very welcoming way of communication. Everybody likes to read email and then respond if they feel it's necessary. And in this way, in this process, nobody's irritated, nobody's disturbed, right? No, it doesn't causes inconvenience to anybody. It connects you within and beyond the national boundaries. I'm so sorry. How could I forget this? Email is one thing that connects all of us, right? If one of us is sitting in US right now and says that I want these documents, right? I can quickly scan the documents and send it through email. Whereas if I send the email by courier or a speed post, that will take at least 5 to 7 working days to reach there. Yes, but emails are fast and immediate. Again, it doesn't matter if somebody is sitting in the same office or if somebody is sitting in across the borders, right? Everybody will receive it at the same time span, right? Immediately. But it just requires certain skills, a professional setup to write an email. You cannot just write an email so casually to anybody, right? The email has to be well crafted. It's kind of a skill that we all need to learn. It is essential not to commit mistakes. It is very important that we don't make mistakes. It is a vital aspect of business communication because things cannot run without emails these days. We need to have emails all the time. We write to anybody and everybody. So this is why this becomes the vital aspect of our business communication. Right? And why business communication? I think it's a vital aspect of any kind of communication these days. Now, okay, now why you should prefer email over any other mode of communication? Because of course it is the right choice. Like I just said, you can have any kind of a query. You can write it in your email and send it to the person. The person will read your email and respond it back to you. Again, it makes it an official record. It is on the record with you. When you're sending an email to someone you don't know, and you can send it to email to anybody, even to the person whom you don't know. One, you can also send an email to the person who is sitting at a certain authoritative level. Right. For example, these days, even ministry people and authority people with authority, they encourage people to write them emails for any kind of problems. Right. You have a water issue. You have some. You have issues with some any kind of an organization for schools. Anything. People encourage you to write the emails because emails reach to them faster than even a phone call. If you phone call somebody, the person might not be available or it's very difficult to reach somebody, right? People are busy, but emails definitely reach. Right? And irrespective of who you are, you can write an email to anybody if you have the right email address, of course. Right. Now, when you're writing an email, what you need to keep in mind is that the language has to be formal. You cannot use slangs. You cannot use informal kind of a language, informal terminologies, abbreviations or contractions. The email has to be written in a formal language, right? Your vocabulary, your sentence structures, your grammar, everything has to be in place, right? Unless, of course, you are writing to your friends or your family. That I'm not talking about. I'm talking about the formal emails when we are talking to somebody formally. Whether we know the person or we don't know the person, we need to keep a check on the email language. This I always say it for any kind of a writing skill because especially we are talking about business correspondence and reporting here. We are not talking about informal languages, communication here. So this is why for any chapter that we have done so far or what we are doing right now, language has to be in place. You need to use complete sentences. You cannot use language which is not proper, right? You cannot use incomplete sentences. If you use incomplete sentences, your grammar is not proper. Trust me, people will not even read the email. They will lose interest because they will not understand what you were trying to say, their meaning, and everything will be lost in between. Any problem so far? Yes, emails eliminates time barrier. Definitely. Emoticons are these, the signs that we use on WhatsApps these days, on Facebook, in all these social media platforms, the faces that we make, and the kind of images, the small images that we send within the text, that is called emoticons, because that expresses emotions. That's how you use it, right? If you're happy, you send a happy face. If you're sad, you send a sad face. So emoticons is basically icons that express emotions. The screen is blurry. So Ashok sir, uh, is my screen blurry? ठीक है ना? Okay. Please check your internet for that. Even if Jyoti, so semi-formal emails are the emails that you write within the organizations. Probably you're writing to one of your colleagues, or you're writing to somebody who's working on the same project. You could be a little semi-formal, but again, you cannot use casual language there. You cannot get too informal when it comes to writing, because again, you are a part of a formal organization. No, Arshdeep, I think in that case, if you think that this is a drawback, that there's a very less chance to get response every time, I think that's the same case for the letters also. And usually letters get lost also. Yes. Uh, Half of the times you actually call somebody and say that I sent you a letter, that letter would be lost, right? Or maybe misplaced by the person who received it. So at least emails, you can actually store emails for years and years. If you don't delete the email will be there, sitting there in your mailbox for years. This is again one of the advantages of email writing. I do a lot of times when I want to save some information, some document, or some details, I always email it to myself, because I feel that is a very safe way. And of course, I can access to emails anywhere, anytime. Even if I'm standing on the road, I can just pick up my phone and open my email, and everything is right in front of me. So I think it's a very approachable medium. Things are readily available to you. Yes, Bhargav, contractions, abbreviations, and emoticons are not recommended. They're not recommended, I would say. They are prohibited. Yes, emails are cost effective, and you can send it to a number of people. There is no limit. You can actually send thousands of people together the emails, the same email. Okay, so emails can be divided into three categories, which is one, formal emails that we are discussing right now. Semi-formal, I just explained it to you. It is when you are addressing to colleagues and within a team or within the organization you're working, right? Especially if everybody is at the same level in terms of their designations. So that is the semi-formal emails. But if you are writing to somebody who is one level above you, or your boss or somebody, again, the formal email structures come in between. Informal is needless to mention. Informal emails is when you send it to your friends or your relatives. Like informal letters, there is no, as such, any structure or any particular style of writing which is recommended. You feel free as per your relationship with a person. You can write the way you want, right? But of course, you need to follow the pattern. You need to know the person's email address. You need to put it off subject line. All the steps that you need to follow in the formal email, you need to follow it in the informal email as well, because that is the part of the email writing. Okay, are we good till here? Any problems so far? Should we start with the format? No. Slang language and vernacular language is not the same. Slang language is, how do I say? Slang is not a formal structured words. It is just some that this internet, because of this internet, people have started making some words. Right? That is slang. But that is not, as per if you ask me, that is not part of a proper language. But vernacular is when somebody is talking in their mother tongue. That is, and there's a language and the dialect that is spoken in their local region. That is vernacular language. Right? So there's a difference. Vernacular is still acceptable, but slang is not. Okay, before I move ahead with the format, I'm going to show you one slide. Read both the sentences or both the statements and tell me which is formal and which is informal, which is complete, which is incomplete, which has a complete sense of meaning, and which one doesn't have the complete meaning. And if both the statements are talking about the same thing. Okay. So the first one says the meeting is scheduled for December 5th at 9:30 a.m. All students must attend. Your project updates are needed. In the next box, it says required meeting hyphen December 5th. December is written at DEC. 9:30 a.m. Updates needed. See ya there. Now, see ya there is a slang, right? This is not even a vernacular language. So see ya there. Now, this is a very internet sort of a language. You don't use this for circulars or for notices. Required meeting. Meeting for what? Then December 5th. Now, you cannot use abbreviations like DEC. You need to write the complete month's name. Updates needed for what? So these are the incomplete. It looks like a text message. And even for the text messages, this is not a complete message that has a complete meaning. So yes, the left one is the is the complete and formal. Clear? Okay, now let's discuss about the format. Now, this is the basic format of emails. Now, these are the blanks that we need to fill in. There are few blanks that we need to fill in for mandatorily, but there are few things that we need to keep in mind while writing the body of the email. So first comes the from. In the from column, we fill the sender's name or email ID, the one who's sending. So when you open your email ID, this thing is automatically reflected. You don't need to fill in, right? If I log in from my email ID, if I log in into my Gmail account, automatically when I start composing the email, I see the from column and my email ID is already there. Then comes the to column, which is the receiver's name or email ID. Now, if you have saved the email ID in your contact list, then you can just put the receiver's name and the email ID will be automatically filled. Otherwise, you have to write the correct email ID. Then comes the CC, which is the carbon copy. Now, carbon copy is, as the name suggests, when you mark people in CC corner, everybody will receive the same email on their own email IDs. Now, the receiver can see whom all has received these emails. All right, who all has received this same email. So the receiver can see all the email IDs that has been marked in the same email, whereas BCC is the blank carbon copy. Now, in the blank carbon copy, when I mark people in the blank carbon copy column, the receiver cannot see to whom all I have sent the email, the same email, right? So, for example, A sends the email to B. Now, A is the sender, B is the receiver, right? Now, C and D are part of B's team. So, I mark C and D as well. Now, B knows that everybody has received the same email, everybody's on the same page. But what if I mark X and Y in the BCC? B, C, D will never get to know that X and Y has also received the same email. Are we clear? Yes. Okay. We suggest that you should always put your email ID in BCC so that you know that email has been received by everyone. Right? At times, what happens is we send the email, and because of some technical issue or because of some wrong email ID, the emails don't reach the person. Right? So BCC basically shows that the email has been gone and sent and received by the other one. Right? Because I don't know if the other person received the email or not. But if I mark myself in BCC, I would know that email has been has reached to every mailbox. Clear? Next comes the subject. Now, subject is a very essential part. We receive n number of emails in a daytime, right? We are getting these marketing emails. We are getting some important emails. We're getting emails from the banks. So many emails that we receive. Now, do we open all the emails? I don't. Nobody has time to open each and every email and check what is there. So what we do is we look at the subject line and then we decide if you want to read the email or not. Right? Now, if I find any subject line to be attractive, I'll open the email. Otherwise, I will not open the email. Even for the marketing and the promotional email. Even if I receive any marketing email, if I think that there is a very attractive subject line, I'll open the email. Otherwise, I will not open the email. Right? For example, new collection or, new things have arrived, stores and some discounts or some sale is going on. Then you open the email to read out what all offers are going on. Otherwise, you don't. Then comes the salutation. Salutation is when you address somebody. It's the same case with the letter writing also. Then comes the main body. Now, main body of the email has to be very short and crisp and well crafted, right? Should know how to start an email, how to put your words or your message across, then how to close the email, and then comes your signature line, right? Your signature, your designation, your phone number, everything, right? Also, attachments. Attachments is a very significant part of emails. Now, if you want to attach some documents, you can simply attach documents and send it to somebody, right? Now, if you want, now what happens is at times we write down that, I'm going to send you these documents and we forget to attach the documents, right? So it is very important for you to check if the documents have been attached or not. Clear? Are we clear till here? Any? Please go through this and tell me if there is any problem. I will be picking up each and everything and explaining in details. Rafika, we are studying this because uh, I don't know how many times I repeat this. We are studying this because this is part of our general life also. And when you will enter into professional world, this will become your day in, day out part of life. Like you wake up in the morning, you look at emails, you sleep at night, you look at the emails. I mean, all day you're receiving emails, you're responding to them. So you should know. I mean, it's a skill and it's an art. You can actually impress somebody with your email. You know, a very well crafted emails actually impress people. They like to read it and they want to respond to you, right? So your email should be very convincing so that the other person to whom you're talking for the first time like wants to respond to you. Am I clear? Yes. Any problems? Yes. In CC we can see all the name, in BCC we cannot. Yes. Salutation is how you address the person, dear so and so. That is salutation. Hi, dear. Whatever words you use. We will be explaining each and everything one by one. No, Saima. See, a student is not your designation. Yes. You can write it for your reference, because if you're writing to ICI, then you can write the aspirant. I mean, like, you know, your whatever your registration number is, so that it's easier for the people sitting in the admin can find out your details if you have any problem. But CA student is not your designation. Designation is when you start working, or when you become CA, then you will be like CA Saima Khatun, right? That is going to be your, that you then you will put CA in front of your name, right? Like doctor, CAs, they put it in front of there. They don't need separate designations unless you're working for somebody else and you have a designation, for example, associate, director. These are the, you know, for example, a lecturer, guest faculties, all of these are designations. Okay, next. Oh, before I move on. Now, email writing is, let me brief you. Email writing is basically method of composing, sending, storing, and receiving. Now, you compose a message, you send it, you store it also, because whatever you are sending out is getting stored in your mailbox also, and whatever you are receiving, that is also being stored in your mailbox. Then it's receiving messages. So basically, email has multiple usage. Okay, now let's move on. Yes, Arshdeep. Okay, I'm going to show you this. I think you guys are not really aware about this. Some of you are not. I'll just show you how this thing looks like. Now, these days, things have little changed. One second, I'm just showing it. Okay, look at here. Now, this is how your composing of email looks like, right? You basically click here as composing, right? Okay. Now here, recipient is to whom you are sending. So, for example, okay, I'm just going to fill something, which is like hr@max4.in, right? Now I'm going to put here as CC. CC is any other ID, HR, whatever. Just think, right? Then BCC is okay. So this all has been filled, right? Then I have a subject line here where I will write about or any this thing. Introducing a new product. Introducing a new product. So basically this email is probably about that I'm going to share a new catalog or a new product or information about a new product, right? Then I start the email by saying, dear Mr. Smith, okay, this is my salutation, dear Mr. Smith. So I'm writing email to somebody and this has to be addressed very formally, dear Mr. Smith, right? Then I introduce the topic in 2 or 3 paragraphs and then I close it. Clear? Are we clear about this, about the composition of email IDs? Okay. If there is any problem, you can ask me. Okay, everyone. My voice is not audible. Don't get confused with BCC and CCC. We don't use that all the time. CC is simple if you want to send the same email to more people. Again, for example, I want to introduce a new product. I don't want to send it to one person. I want to send my own product to so many people at the same time. I have 50 email IDs. I have 50 people that I can talk to. I can talk to 50 people at the same time. So I will put all the email IDs in CC, right? But if I don't want everybody to know to whom I have sent the emails, I put it in BCC. This is simple. Right? Right? So in that sense, BCC is when I don't want others to know to whom all I have sent the emails. CC is if I'm okay with it, if I want to send it to everyone. Now, in an organization, for example, I am the HR and I am going to send the email to everyone announcing that tomorrow will be a holiday. We're not going to open the office for whatever reason, right? I can write one email, send it to entire office. I can just CC it to everyone, right? I can just send it to the main department heads and CC it to all the employees, right? BCC is if I don't want to share everybody's personal IDs with each other. Simple. That is all it is about. Clear? अभिनव, बीसीसी तब होता है अगर हमें एक किसी की भी ईमेल आईडी एक दूसरे से शेयर नहीं करनी है, वन। सेकेंड, हम नहीं चाहते हैं जिसको हम ईमेल भेज रहे हैं बाकियों को भी पता चले कि हमने किस किस को और भेजी है, राइट? जो जो हमारा रिसीवर है ईमेल का, मैं नहीं चाहती कि उसको पता चले कि मैंने ईमेल और लोगों को भी भेजी है, तो मैं उसका बाकी लोगों की ईमेल आईडी बीसीसी में डालूंगी, ब्लैंक कार्बन कॉपी। बट कार्बन कॉपी होती है जब मुझे सेम ईमेल सबको भेजनी है और सब एक दूसरे की देख सकते हैं, मतलब मुझे कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है देखने में, तो वो सीसी है। फॉर एग्जाम्पल, मैंने किसी कंपनी के हेड को ईमेल भेजा, राइट, और साथ में उनकी सारी जो टीम एसोसिएट्स है मैंने सबको मार्क कर दिया, दैट इज सीसी। एम आई क्लियर? नाउ वन मोर थिंग दैट आई वांट टू टेल यू हियर, टू और सीसी का डिफरेंस। मैंने ईमेल लिखा, डियर अजय, ठीक है, मैं अजय को एक ईमेल भेज रही हूँ अपनी तरफ से, ठीक है? जस्ट गिव मी अ सेकंड, आई एम सो सॉरी। Okay, I want to send the email to Ajay, right? Ajay is the marketing head in a company, ठीक है? और मैंने ईमेल अजय को एड्रेस की है, तो मैं टू में अजय का ईमेल आईडी करूंगी, डालूंगी, और मैं साथ में उनके टीम एसोसिएट्स को भी मार्क कर रही हूँ, तो वो सीसी में उनका नाम आएगा, उन सबका नाम टू में नहीं आएगा। पर अगर मैं अजय और विजय को ईमेल भेज रही हूँ एक साथ और मैं लिख रही हूँ डियर अजय एंड विजय, ये राइट, और डियर ऑल, तब मैं टू में दोनों की ईमेल आईडी डाल सकती हूँ। सीसी इज एक्स्ट्रा कि मैंने और सबको भी भेजी है ईमेल, राइट? You will learn all of this with experience and when you practically do it, right? तो टू में बेसिकली उसका नाम आता है जिसको ईमेल मेनली एड्रेस हुआ है। क्लियर? यस भूमिका, अगर आपको आईसीआईसी कोई ईमेल आता है विच इज, आपको लगता है कि इट्स अ जनरल नोटिफिकेशन और सबको भेजी जा रही है, तो ऑब्वियसली इट इज सेंट बाय बीसीसी, राइट? They don't want to share everybody's personal email IDs with each other for privacy issues, for security issues, for any other kind of issues, right? People take care of these things. Am I clear? अभिनव, आपको समझ आया? और फॉर्मल लेटर्स और ईमेल्स का आपने मुझसे डिफरेंस पूछा था। फॉर्मल लेटर हम फिजिकली कोई लेटर लिखते हैं या हम प्रिंट आउट लेते हैं। ईमेल होता है जब हम इलेक्ट्रॉनिकली एक ईमेल आईडी से दूसरी ईमेल आईडी पर भेजते हैं, राइट? लेटर होता है जब हम हाथ से लिख के किसी को डिलीवर करवाते हैं या पोस्ट करते हैं या कोरियर के थ्रू भेजते हैं, सो या प्रिंट आउट भी लेके हम कोरियर या उसके थ्रू करते हैं, ये हम एक इंटरनेट और एक ईमेल अकाउंट के थ्रू भेज सकते हैं। So are we clear? Any problems that anybody has so far? Okay, now should we start with the what all things we need to take care of for writing good emails? Oh, let's start. यहाँ तक सब क्लियर है? The person you अर्शदीप, जो मार्केटिंग ईमेल्स होते हैं वो अपने मार्केटिंग पर्सपेक्टिव से भेजते हैं, वो भी एक फॉर्मल ईमेल्स का ही पार्ट है. जो भी whatever they feel is right for their marketing of their projects, they do it, right? They don't use any false language, they don't hurt anyone, they don't personally accusing anyone or blaming anyone or talking about some other product. No, they just talk about their product formally, that this is our product and this is so good and how it is so good and why you should buy it, right? There's nothing wrong about it. But if you have noticed in the marketing emails, the language used is proper, right? They might use a little bit of abbreviations in terms of their ads, but when they write an email to you personally, that's always in a formal language. Arshdeep, I don't get this question. Emails were also sent in writing, like posting through emails. तो फिर उसको लेटर कहते हैं ना, उसको ईमेल थोड़ी कहते हैं. वो तो आज भी हम करते हैं. ईमेल ओनली केम जब इंटरनेट आया और ईमेल एड्रेसेस आए. ईमेल पहले कुछ नहीं होता था, उसका कोई और तरीका नहीं था. या तो वो ईमेल राइटिंग होती है, लेटर राइटिंग होती है. देयर इज नथिंग एल्स दैट वी डू. हाँ, हमारे पास पहले फैक्स होता था, जो फैक्स के थ्रू भेजते थे चीजें, फोन के थ्रू और दैट समथिंग, दैट यूनिट के थ्रू मैसेजेस पहुंचते थे, बट नथिंग एल्स. No. Asha, if you're talking about making in the box in your answer sheets, no. You just have to simply write about the, how you will draft an email. That's it. Nothing else. You don't have to make any box or something. No. Okay, let's talk about the anatomy of good emails. Marketing emails may usually be, they put everything in BCC only. Okay. Now, what does it take to write a good email? First thing is the subject line. The subject line is the most important part of email. A good subject line can entice people. Entice people mean they can attract people to open your email to read. Now, it may be possible that emails go unread and people just people just end up deleting your email. And which is why a good subject line is very important. Something that makes the person serious about your email. Then there is a back subject line that can land up your email in a trash, like I just said. If you send an email without a subject line, if you use, simply write down like hi, hello, introducing, you write like one word in your emails, again, that will go into the spam or trash very easily. Spend double time while crafting the right subject line. Now, once your email is done, to be very honest, most of the people do this, I'm sure. First, you write down the email and then you think of the subject line, right? Because the subject line is basically supposed to define what is your email about in a small statement, right? It has to be appropriate. The words used should be appropriate. That tells you the meaning of the email, right? Every time you're discussing a new topic, change the subject line. Now, for example, we are talking about, we all are working in. So you are the client, I am the, basically the person you are dealing with. I'm the professional and you are the client. And we are exchanging emails. So we are discussing about the timeline of a project. And we are discussing, we have exchanged 5 emails to set the timeline, and the subject of the email is timeline of the project, so and so, whichever project is, project name ke saath we write down this timeline. Now, after 5 emails, you change the topic to I change the topic to payment, right? It's how the payment will be done, right? Now, I have to change the subject line of the email so that you get to know and you understand that now the topic has been changed from the timeline to the payments, that how the payment will be done of the particular project after the completion of the particular project. Are you getting my point? So if the topic changes in the email, after exchanging few emails, you have to change the subject line. There in the existing trail of the email, there is an option of edit subject. So you can edit the subject and then you can deliver the same email. Clear? Any problem so far about understanding about the subject line? Now we talk about the salutations. Now, what is salutation? It is directly addressing the person you are sending the email to. So how you send or how you address the person you are sending the email to. So if you're sending the email to the students, you write dear students, right? If the person's name is email, okay, either you use the person's first name for writing the email or you use a surname. So if you're using the first name, you use as dear John. So if the person's name is John, you say dear John, right? If the person's full name is John Smith, so either you say dear Mr. Smith or dear Jones. There is nothing in the middle. You never say dear Mr. John, right? Here Jones is the surname, not the name. Okay, so you never say, you don't use the first name and the Miss, Mrs., Mr. along with it, right? Either it has to be just the first name, complain with hi John or dear John, or it has to be a title with the last name, right? If you do not know the person's name, if you do not know the surname, you know nothing, you are writing an email to the department, the whole department in general. So you can just simply write Dear Human Resource Department because you're sending it to the department directly, right? But try to get the name of the person because it creates a good impression. It makes your email ID more personalized. If you can find the name, these days you have so many platforms to find out the person's name, right? There's so many professional platforms from where you can find out the particular person's name. Find out the person's name, then send the email. That creates a good impression. It seems like that you have put in some effort to it. Clear? Any problems that you have so far about the salutations? Now look at the last example. For example, you're sending the email to the person whose name is Sanjay Garg, right? So either you will write Dear Mr. Garg or you write Dear Sanjay. Now, both are okay, right? But you cannot say Dear Mr. Sanjay. That is not okay. Okay? If you do not know anything, just write down Dear Sir or Madam. You don't know, you're writing to somebody in any organization and you don't know it is headed by whom, whether a lady runs it or a man. So you can just say Dear Sir or Dear Ma'am. You can just decide about it. Clear? Any problems? Okay, so how about we take a 5 minutes break and then we meet back at 3 o'clock and then take it for the... Okay, let's take a 5 minutes break and join back at 3 o'clock. Sir, are we live? Hello, sir. Okay, okay. All right. So we discussed about the subject line, salutations and greetings. Now let's talk about the body of the email. Now, in the body of the email, you need to introduce yourself first, especially when you're writing the emails for the first time to somebody. Do introduce yourself because, needless to say, without introduction, why somebody would read your email. Introduce your main agenda of the email. You need to introduce that why you're writing the email. That has to be very clear. It has to be very concise and to the point, right? Nobody has time to read a long written email, just like a long written formal letter, right? Make it as brief as possible. Then you need to divide the paragraphs in email according to the points discussed. One paragraph should have only one point of discussion. Do not mix your points together. It has to be divided, right? The paragraph could be of 2 lines or 1 liner. If the paragraph doesn't mean 10 sentences together, it has to be 1 liner, 2 liner only. Each paragraph should have only one point of discussion. You need to close and sign off the email with proper and suitable sentences. Keep a check on your use of grammar, spelling, and punctuation. That is very important. You need to be, again, we keep repeating this, take care of your grammar, spelling, and punctuation so that you do not miss out onto this. If, again, informal emails, without this, your formal language basically suffers. If your grammar is not in place, your spellings are not in place, your punctuation, it doesn't create a good impression also. And especially again, if the person doesn't know you. Of course, it could be an error also, but try your email should not have any error. You need to reread your email before sending. You need to read it again and again before you actually read it. Okay. Then there is a closing. Just as you want to start off things on a good note, you need to end it also on a good note, right? There has to be a good, friendly closing. And you have to make sure that you are telling the other person that you are looking forward to hear from somebody, right? Again, after that, you need to have a friendly sign off, something like thanks, best, regards, sincerely, best wishes, based on your relationship with the person, based on your professional relationship, based on your own personality, and based on how it works for you yourself. You need to choose the best words for that. Are we clear? Now, these were the basic things that you need to keep in mind, basic structures that you need to keep in mind, right? Okay, so based on that, you need to decide. Now we will be discussing about what all options you can use for your opening, for your closing, in the middle way, when you're introducing something, when you're introducing yourself, what all statements you can use. Now look here, a little guide. Greetings, dear Jones. Hi, Amit. Dear Professor Jain. Dear Miss Sharma. Now, professor is in itself is used just the way we use C as a title. So you use professor in front of any person's name who's a professor. Dear Jones, hi Amit, dear Professor Jain, dear Miss Sharma. We are not saying, hi Mr. Amit. No, right? We're not saying, dear Mr. Jones. No, it's a no-no. Clear? Now, introducing a topic or informing. Now, this is to inform you. If you're informing somebody, you can say, this is to inform you. This is a very formal way of introducing. You can say, just to let you know, good news or bad news, I've got a great news for you. Now, I've got a great, you can say, good news, I have a great news for you. You've been promoted to certain level from October onwards, right? So when you're introducing a topic, you can use these options. Then follow up on previous email. When you are sending an email and it's a follow-up email, you've already sent an email before, you already had a discussion before, and then after that you're sending an email. You start your email with, as discussed, please find and attach these documents. To follow up on our meeting or discussion, then you send on that, we have decided that so and so price will be offered to you. Clear? As required. When you basically what happens is when you are talking on phone and some person says that send so and so documents to me, you can just say, as required, I am sharing the following list of documents with you as an attachment to this email. Regarding and regards to, you can just say that regarding your query about the prices, I'm sharing the new price list with you. Or in regards to your query, or in regards to your inquiry regarding the price list, I'm sharing the new rate list with you. When you're asking or requesting somebody, when the email is about asking or requesting someone, you can just say, I would like to know if this is possible, or I would like to know if you are if you're available to meet tomorrow for the meeting. Could you confirm if we can meet around 2 o'clock tomorrow? Could you give me an update or quote or a estimate? Could you give me an update on when can I receive my the order, right? Or could you give me a quote for the following order if you are basically asking for any quotation? Saying thanks, getting back to me, thanks for getting back to me, thanks for sharing the information, thanks for updating, thanks for the email, following up on, thanks for following up with me. Okay. So you can always, if somebody has done something good and if they have actually responded back to you, start with a thank you. When your third email you're sending, start with a thank you, right? If somebody has shared information with you which was important to you, again starts with a thanks. Now ending. The ending of the email is again important. I'll get back to you as soon as possible. I'll let you know about it. Let me know what you think about the proposal offered. You can say, keep me posted about the progress of the project. Thanks, regards, all the best. Thanks and regards always works the best. So you can actually end with that too. Clear? Are we clear about this? Now, I want you to read this email and tell me, what do you think about this email? Do you think there's something being missing in this email? Read this email and tell me if you feel something missing in this email. I'm talking in respect of the body of the email. I hope you and your family are well and that the recent flooding has not affected you much. I was saddened to hear about the death of your champion racehorse and was wondering if I could be of any assistance. Yours sincerely, Alexander Case, Managing Director, Fido's Pet Funeral Parlor. Now, it's a formal email, of course, being sent to somebody who has just lost their horse. It is from the pets agency who helps these pets and who works for these pets. So the managing director of this particular agency has messaged to a family who has just lost a horse, right? And the championship horse, the horse that used to participate in the race. Now, it's a formal email. Tell me the mistakes that you see in this email. No, the salutation is not wrong. So, sir is also a title. Earlier, we used to write this for the high-ranking people, and Mountbatten is the surname, so it's fine. Okay, Nitin, I'm glad that you talk about the ending. What could have been in the ending? Or you can just say the ending could have been better. You could have like, please contact me anytime you need any kind of assistance. The closing line could have been, please contact me anytime if you need any help, right? It's because you have written the email to offer somebody some help. Oh, I'm so sorry. Now, I was saddened to hear about the death of your champion and wondering if could be of any assistance. Now, you've written to somebody showing your concern, then you've written about the reason why you're writing, but you've not ended the email. Like, why did you actually write, right? So, you want to offer some assistance, then you need to have a closing. You can simply say that please contact me anytime if you need any help, right? You need to assure somebody that the person can call you anytime they need some help. So the closing could have been a better closing. Now look at this one. Dear Mr. Jones, with reference to your letter on the 17th January, please accept our apologies for the mistake. You can rest assured that we will make sure that it does not happen again. We will deliver 100 new items free of charge by the end of next week. If that is acceptable to you, please let us know as soon as possible that if this is okay, we can put the order through queue straight away to save any further delay. The mistake happened because of communication problems with one of your suppliers, but we have now fully fixed this problem. If you have any further questions, please do not hesitate to contact us. Read and tell me the problem. Read the paragraphs very carefully and then tell me the problem. So this is a separate paragraph. Now look at the first paragraph. No, salutation is not a mistake. Jones is a surname here. Okay, dear Jones, let's do that. Let's correct it. So, dear Jones. Now, with reference to your letter on the 17th January, please accept our apologies for the mistake. You can rest assured that we will make sure that it doesn't not happen again. Now, this paragraph is fine because it is referring back to the letter that was received on 17th January, right? So please accept our apologies. Everything is fine because we need to start with apologies. There's something went wrong. Now, look at this. We will deliver 100 new items free of charge by the end of the next week. If that is acceptable to you, please let us know as soon as possible if that is okay. And we can put the order through you straight away to save any further delay. The mistake happened because of communication problems with one of our suppliers, and we have now fully fixed this problem. Now, the reason of mistake has to come first, right? After the apologies. So this has to move in the second paragraph. All right. Now read. We will deliver 100 new items free of charge by the end of the next week, if that is acceptable to you. Please let us know as soon as possible if that is okay. And we can put the order through you straight away to save any further delay. If you have any further questions, please do not hesitate to contact me. Now this seems okay. Every paragraph has to move in a flow. And if you see, every paragraph has one agenda. They are not mixing two things. Now, the first one is about apologizing. The other one is the reason that why this problem happened. Now, the next is talking about that your 100 new items will be delivered free of charge by the next week. That, why the delivery was late. And so it's assuring. And it's also the person is also asking, please let us know as soon as possible if that is okay, and we can put the order through you straight away. And then closing. If you have any further questions, please do not hesitate to contact me. Now, if you look at the closing is basically welcoming. It is ending on a note and ending on a good note that you feel free to contact me if there is any problem. Right? Oh, yes, Sakshi. It is very, very important to write subjects. Without subject line, the emails cannot go. And any time you're sending an email without a subject line, the email will prompt you that you have not entered any subject line. Do you want this email to go without a subject line? Right? So you have to select from there yes or no. No, if you're sending it to yourself. Yes, if you are, no, yes, if you're sending it to yourself. No, if you're sending it to somebody else. You need to mention the subject line. All right. Actually, because we're discussing the body of the letter here, we're not discussing the subject line. But now that you know the email, can you suggest me the subject line for the same email? Can you all suggest me the subject line for this given email? Reply to the complaint is a good subject line. Resolve the issue, good. I don't suggest that you need to have a subject line, something like apologies for mistake. It's a formal email. You can just simply say reply to the complaint or resolving the issue, right? And probably with a hyphen, you can put the project name. Okay, now let's discuss about the common mistakes that people do while writing the email. Okay, so the common mistakes that people usually do is writing the poor subject line. Needless to say, we've been discussing about it. Subject line is very important again. Not personalizing your greetings. I said that even if you don't know the person's name to whom you're sending the email, try to find out the name, because if you address it to somebody personally, it just adds a little personalization to the email, and they kind of like it when they receive it, and they take it more seriously that the email was meant to be for the person. Another example to this is nowadays when you receive these marketing emails, that emails always addressed to you personally, right? So, dear Mr. Dear Prachi. So this is how you receive the emails, and it just adds a little personalization to the emails. Announcing too much in one message. Now, in one email, you're announcing like 100 things. That's a mistake. Person gets confused. The email has to be very specific. For example, you are discussing about the pricing and the delivery timelines of a project order, right? Stick to these 2 points. Don't add another third one to it, because that will confuse everything. Okay? Employing ambiguous language. If you are using language which is not clear, if it is not clear, that is ambiguous language. Make your any kind of writing skill, whether it's email writing or whether it's anything else, it has to be clear and concise. Copy pasting. Never, never, never please copy paste emails, right? In that way, you will end up making mistakes in the form of small detailing. For example, you copy pasted one text from another, which was about the meeting and the time and the date, right? When you copy paste it, you change the date of the meeting, but you forgot to change the time of the meeting. Or probably the AM, PM mistakes like these, such as these. Instead of saying the meeting will be at 9 AM, you end up writing 9 PM, right? So copy pasting mostly ends up with an email that has errors, right? So make sure, and even if you're copy pasting, make sure you read your email twice, thrice to avoid any error. Forgetting to explain attachments. Now, the 2 reasons to it. One is either we mention in the email, please find attached these documents, and we forget to attach, or We attach the documents and we forget to mention it about it in the email, right? So if there is not a one line about this, one line is not mentioned about the attachments, often people forget to look at, and they won't even get to know that attachments are also there, right? So it's important that you, of course, mention in one line that there are attachments, the documents have been attached to this email. Also, you attach documents along with it to make sure you don't forget that before sending the email. Use jargon words. Now, we've been talking about jargon words everywhere. Jargon words are always used within the same industry with people who understands that. So if you're writing an email to somebody like that, okay, maybe you can use some jargons. But other than that, if you're sending an email to so many people together, avoid jargon words because not everybody will understand it. Failing to use signature. You forgot to write your own name beneath the email. You've not closed it. You've not mentioned your phone number if it's required, your company's name, your designation. Again, that impacts. How will somebody, if somebody reads your email and is interested in talking to you, how will the person approach you if the number is not mentioned? Right? They feel that they don't want to waste time on writing email and they just want to directly speak to you. How will they approach you? You should have a proper signature which has your name, your designation, your company's name, your phone number. Email ID, of course, they get it. Having a poor email format, you do not know how to start the email, how the opening will be, how the closing will be, how the middle will be. Neglecting proofreading. No matter how many emails you write in a day, you should always read some sentence structure is wrong. We write it the way we talk it, but there is a difference in spoken English and when we write in the form of email or any written statements. So, you need to check what you're writing again and again. Clear? Any problems so far about email writing? Any questions? Rohini, jargon words are those words that are used by people of the same profession, right? So doctors have few words that they use amongst each other, but those words sound different to somebody else, right? For example, we talk about this 9 to 5 job. So we know that 9 to 5 job means a corporate job or white collar jobs, right? But somebody who doesn't have a background of jobs or service or professionalism, they might not understand what 9 to 5 means. Ziva, neglecting proofreading is a common mistake because if you do not read what you have written, you might end up sending something that has errors in it, right? So it's a common mistake. What people do is they quickly write down the email and they quickly click on the send button, right? In that way, they don't proofread it, and you might send something wrong. That's what we are saying, that you should not neglect it. You should read it again. Yeah, you can, Saima. Yes, you can. हाँ बेटा we don't know how to prepare for this exam. Please get your concepts clear and practice as much as you can. You have enough questions in your study material, enough of examples. Go through them very carefully. Practice the questions given in the study material itself. Once you are ready with that, every question given in the study material has the answer or tips to attempt that question. So that is quite helpful. Besides that, take out the questions from revision test papers, model test papers, previous year's question papers. Everything is available on ICI's website, and along with the answers, suggested answers. So that would really help you. I think this should be enough to prepare you for the exams, right? Notice the pattern of the questions, notice how the questions are asked, and prepare it accordingly. Now it's like, thank you for getting back to me. Okay, the few points that we need to cover from the study material is be clear about the purpose of writing an email. Do not send email to somebody if you do not have a purpose. Of course, and why would you? Make points about information that needs to be included. You should know what are points you want to include in that information. Be clear with that. Your tone and language should be suitable for the intended recipient. Now, if you're sending an email, you need to keep a check on your tone and language as well. Be polite, be formal, right? You should always sound polite when you are sending an email. Don't sound aggressive or don't sound angry, even if you are, right? The language that you need to use the language which is appropriate and which is correct. Use your official ID for all work-related problems. Now, what does that mean? Official ID means that you create a formal ID. For example, your name is Rahul Jain. So you create an email ID as like Rahul Jain at so-and-so.com or Rahul.Jain and so-and-so.com. You cannot say cool.jain at gmail.com or coolrahul at gmail.com. You cannot use such IDs for your work-related emails, right? So your email ID has to be appropriate. Again, it has to be official and should look official. Use appropriate salutation. Do not say hey instead of, don't use words that we use very casually with others. Keep the mail short and simple. Nobody has time to read lengthy, confusing, complicated emails. When you keep your things short and simple, they are less confusing, less complicated, right? When you do not talk about 50 things in one email, it actually makes your email crisp and short. Just stick to the point. Use short sentences. Sentences has to be short with a clear message and has to be concise. Again, don't use long sentences because long sentences often confuse people and the meaning is kind of lost. The other person doesn't understand what you were trying to say. Use short sentences to convey your message. Now, short sentences has to be used. It's just the same thing. State subject and objective of the email. writing email clearly in the opening paragraph. In the opening paragraph, your subject and your objective has to be very clear why you are writing this, right? Use separate paragraphs for stating different points. The content of the email should be logically and systematically organized. The content has to be logical and systematic. For example, we just did that example where the paragraphs were exchanged, right? So it was not logical, it was not systematical. You need to first apologize for your mistake. You can give a reason why mistake happened. Then you assure the person that you will get the delivery. And then you have a closing wherein you say that please don't hesitate to ask me anything if you have any further questions. Clear? Oh. Do not write the entire email in capital letters, because capital letters often give an impression that you are being rude or you're shouting at somebody, right? You can use capital letter for a certain phrase or a sentence if you want to highlight certain point. But then you need to use it judiciously. You need to think about it why you are making it capital. Do not make just any vague sentence capital. And never, never, never have your full sentences. Just cut capital letters. Go according to the punctuation, that is the required punctuations. Highlight and underline the key points. You can do that. You can obviously underline your key points so that the reader, the receiver does not miss that. Take special care of your tone, because everything is going on the record. When you're writing an email, everything is on record. I keep saying this again and again. Formal letter and formal emails, both are on record. It's a good thing also, and it could turn against you if you do not take care of your tone, language, the content that you are sending in that email, right? So make sure that you sound pleasant, and you actually write, even if you're angry. You should have a skill and art to frame the sentences in a way that it doesn't bother anyone else. Ensure you are always polite, regardless of the seriousness of the matter. Right? Proofread, needless to say. When you're framing a reply to the receipt, ensure you answer the query or request in it. Now, if you have received any email which has queries, and when you are framing and drafting a reply for that received email, make sure that you answer each and every point. Check, go back. Then have you answered each and every point? Right now, each and every point has to be divided into separate paragraphs. Right. Do not use slangs, incomprehensible abbreviations, SMS. Now, incomprehensible abbreviations means do not make your own abbreviations. Abbreviations that people can understand, which is universally popular, that you can use. But other than that, nothing else. SMS language in your emails is a no-no. Never use casual language because it makes it incomprehensible. Not everybody understands this slang. For example, a casual language, maybe you understand, but people who are elder or of our parents' age, they will not understand what you're trying to say, right? And often, when we do not use the language appropriately, it dilutes the meaning and the effectiveness of our message. Clear? So make sure that you use formal language with correct grammar, correct vocabulary, correct structures, and punctuations for sure. Okay. Any problems? Gunjan, totally depends on how much time you can give and how much prepared you are when it comes to language. Please set your own timelines. Nobody can tell you about that. But if you ask me, still, I think not every day, but you can give at least 2-3 hours in a week to the subject. Because if you do not practice, things won't be clear to you. Okay, so one last example that I want you to do is this. Okay, read this and then tell me what all mistakes are there. Okay, so how would you structure this email if you have to? How would you write it? Or how it should have been written? All right, look here. During writing hello to professor is okay. I told you in the beginning that we need to decide according to the professional relationship with the person to whom you're sending the email. Now, if you're sending the email to your professor, you cannot say hello. It has to be formally written, Dear Professor Smith. I'm sorry to inform you, but I will not be able to attend class today because I am ill. Would it be possible for you to let me know what I have missed? Thank you for your help, and I will see you in class on Wednesday. Sincerely, Jason Jones. Whereas here, he says, Hello, Professor Smith. I'm sorry to tell you that, but I am sick and will not be able to come to class. See you Wednesday, Jason. Now, there's no closing. The language used is not formal. He doesn't even give a reason. And nobody is waiting for you in the class. Well, Sia Wednesday is totally wrong. You're not talking to your friend. And then there's no closing, such as yours sincerely or regards, nothing. Simple Jason. So this is, and you need to write your full name underneath the emails. Just like in this case, Alex case, Alexander case, you always write for full name at the end of your email. Jessica Hinks. Right, so this was about email writing. In case there is any query, you can ask me now. Before the class ends, quickly ask me whatever the problem is. Make sure you take care of your language perspective, because this is what we discuss in every writing skill, that you need to think about you need to take care of your language. See, the basic difference between memo and circular is when it is issued for the large number of people, and in comparison to that, memo is issued for the small group of people. Now, memo is actually to remind people for something that needs to be done, right? Something that needs to be enforced. Circular is basically a general announcement to everyone. Maybe a time change, or maybe some rules have been changed in organization. That is for circular. But memo is about giving instructions about what needs to be done on the immediate basis or in a specific timeline. This is the basic difference. Friend, it's informal. To colleague, it's semi-formal or formal, depending on your relationship with your colleague. I'm still waiting. If there is any problem, you can ask me. Otherwise, we'll just call it off for the day. Okay, great. Then I'll see you on 17th now for report writing session. Okay. Bye bye, everyone. Take care.